do was put together more of a group where my friends with different instrumentation that you don't normally work with, we could be in one kind of different thing that no one else is doing.
When he asked me to join the group, it was an honor, because when he said, here are the other people that are going to be in the group, for me to be associated with them was going to be wonderful. It was a challenge, it was something to rise to.
My first reaction when Shawn asked me to be part of the Alliance was, I'm scared, but what a cool thing to get to do.
When Shawn asked me to be a part of the group, I was like, hell yeah, I would love to do that. It sounded like an opportunity that doesn't present itself every day, and I was very excited to be a part of it.
Shawn's a great guy to play with, and he actually plays in another group, in my group, and I've played with his quartet, and so it felt right.
I was flattered that he thought of me for this thing, and I've always liked playing with him and collaborating with him. So it was, I knew at the very least it would be interesting and challenging music to play. I knew it'd be fun.
I was so excited to be in this group and just see what we can do when we're not just doing the basic job.
I was actually really flattered and honored to be part of it because Shawn has been on the Chicago scene for quite some time, and I've known his music and I've seen him perform, and I just was so happy that he asked me to be part of it.
But everybody in the band is really cool. Everybody's, no egos. Everyone's really great at what they do. So it's fun. It's been, musically a lot of fun, but also just personally, everybody in the band is cool. So it's just a lot of fun playing with these great musicians.
The stuff that we're doing is different enough that it's you have to approach it with a fresh mind. It's difficult to, you can't approach it the way you'd approach any other recording project.
We are doing composed music. There is an element of improvisation, but we all have very specific notes to keep track of and to perform.
As a player, you're trying to think about how can I get my voice to fit with these other voices that are similar enough to mine, that I need to make what I'm doing different enough that it will stand out, but still mixed with everybody else.
The Hinge Studios was awesome. I loved being there with such an awesome group of people. Everybody in the band is an outstanding musician, have their own projects going on. They're pretty much everybody in the band is somebody I look to and respect and in the music scene. And I loved the recording process of Shawn's material because it was just different. It was dissonant and kind of out in some ways, but grooving at the same time, and I just thought it was fun as hell to be a part of it.
This is chamber music, but in a completely different musical context. So the ability to make music together and all have a role and to fulfill that and hear the finished product was just awesome.
It's unique. It's a different experience for me. Most of the time I've been working with jazz quartets and or rock bands too, but small groups. And this group was just really interesting, and the music was very challenging to play.
Trying to think of your instrument in a different way than you do in other groups where you're dealing in just like a straight quartet or something more traditional.
We could certainly take a jazz trio or even a jazz quartet out of this, but you add horns to that mix. French horns in a jazz group is really, it's unique.
Just being around everyone and just seeing how everyone interacts in the studio and just kind of feeding off of that energy. So that was the coolest thing about it.
My favorite part was just everyone coming together on it. I know we've put some challenging music out here for the musicians, and it's hearing them get the music and grow with it and get the parts, but also put their own individual flavor and taste on it.
I really enjoyed being in the studio and seeing how it all worked, because that is something that I know very little about. It was also neat to get to just see the studio and see how the engineers work everything.
I really enjoyed the recording. I liked all being in the same room at the same time and having everything just kind of create. My favorite part was just being able to hear all of the parts individually, because when you're in a rehearsal, you can hear everything kind of, but when everything is mixed in, like on a record, you can really hear like what the French horn 2 is doing. It's really cool.
Just being in a recording studio was really interesting and exciting for me. obviously played in a lot of live groups, a lot of large ensembles, done a lot of chamber work, but I never played in a group this size or done any formal recording before.
The makeup is interesting. The music that Shawn's trying to get across is interesting. So I think that'll go a long way towards making what we do fairly distinctive.
If everyone in this band is here for a reason, I don't want to write just blank music and say follow this blindly. We want interpretations. We want individual personalities coming out in it. So that would probably be my favorite part of, as I'm listening back, hearing the different twists that every musician has put and the personal stamp that they put on their recorded parts.
It's gonna be pretty cool. It's unlike anything I have ever played in.